already said, I'm really sorry that I cannot make it today because we had our big conference last week here in sunny Amsterdam in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. But it's an honor and pleasure for me today to really be connected live from our TAPA EMEA studio in Germany, as already said. And we also created a video to ensure that when there's a kind of a lag to the technology, that we are in a position to show you at least what we want to show you. I think one of the biggest things is first, to say, let's connect the dots. Let's start to be TAPAized and ensure that, as you all know, TAPA is the key to success. And data is the key to success. And I think that's really the most important thing. And for those of you, you never heard about TIS. TIS is our TAPA intelligence system. It's really the tool where we store all data related to our certifications in Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and our incidents. And the incidents is the biggest thing. We already do the service for nearly 20 years in Europe, Middle East, and Africa. And right now we have more than 66,000 incidents in the database. So you will see everything in the video, as soon as we kick it off. And I hope that you have a lot of questions after the session. And it should be a little bit interactive. So it's a Q&A, type in the question. I should see it on the screen. And then, I'm really happy to answer your question. As already said, I'm really happy to be here today. I'm actually the president and CEO of TAPA Europe, Middle East, and Africa now for 4 years. Before I was the chair for TAPA Europe, Middle East, and Africa for 13 years. So I'm pretty long engaged with TAPA, similar to Tony Luck. I hope you see me, Tony. Thanks for the kind invite. I'm also a NATO industry expert on communication and cybercrime and all the threats. And I'm actually the chair of the Alliance for Security in the German economy. And I know that my treasurer and member of the board, Björn Hartog, is in the room. So give him my best regards, and I hope he enjoys it. So that's perfect. Before we go to the video, I only would like to show you one quick example, what you will also see in the video. I think what is quite important is really, again, is data. Data, data, data. And again, you see it in the video. And of course, if you go to the tool, you can see the mapping. So I'm an engineer, I'm a very visual-driven guy. And if you look at the mapping, for example, this is now Europe and part of APAC. And you still see Europe. The challenge is when I'm now showing you the data we have, and it's still at the tip of the iceberg, related to cargo crime incidents. You will see over the last 18 months, when I click now the incidents, Europe will disappear. And of course, now you can play with the data. But before we do that, let's kick off the video. Good morning and welcome to the next session, Resilience at Risk. My name is Thorsten Neuman. I'm the president and CEO of the Transported Asset Protection Association for Europe, Middle East, and Africa. I'm also the chair of the board for the Alliance for the Security in the German economy for North Germany, and I am a NATO industry expert in the area of resilience and cyber threat. In the next 15 minutes, I would like to give you an intro, what's going on in Europe, Middle East, and Africa when we talk about resilience and cargo crime. So stay tuned on this one, and it will be followed by an amazing panel discussion with industry leaders within your area of expertise. So if we looked at the supply chain, if we look what's going on right now, the supply chain is under the biggest pressure than ever. We look at COVID, we looked at the conflict in the Ukraine, if you look, for example, at shortages, if you look at, demands, a lot of cyber attacks, and criminals are more and more really targeting our supply chain on a day-by-day perspective. And as already said, unfortunately, over the last couple of months, we see more losses than we have ever seen before. The biggest challenge and the biggest risk nowadays is really that criminals are attacking all industries. 10 years ago, the big electronic companies being under attack, followed by pharma companies, tobacco, and so on. Nowadays, criminals are stealing everything. What is the reason for that? The main reason is because there's no black market anymore. Criminals can steal everything and they can sell everything all over the world, with the World Wide Web. So if you look at genuine platforms, whatever it is, whatever the name will be, you will find stolen products on all platforms in the world. I think what is also quite important, that the value of products are significantly different than a couple of years ago. And if you look at the major threat you are carrying every day, you carry gold on the street, whilst your goods are in transport. It's also quite important to understand that goods at rest are always goods at risk. So let's focus also a little bit on this one when we continue, this kind of intro and what TAPA, the Transported Asset Protection Association, can do for you to mitigate this risk. What is also quite important to understand really the scale of this threat. So there are several studies, and if you look at a study from the European Union, so they believe that the impact of cargo crime in the European Union alone is up to 8.2 billion euro. If you look at the German white paper created by the German Insurance Association, the German Logistics Association, and TAPA, we strongly believe that the impact on cargo crime within the German economy is 2.1 billion euro. So, but now let's stop the presentation and let's go live into our system. So welcome to the TAPA TIS tool. The TIS tool is our intelligence system and it shares with you live data from all over Europe, Middle East and Africa. So what does it really mean? Europol, by the way, is using our system, and more than 300 police agencies all over Europe, Middle East and Africa are also using the system to gather crime intelligence and to really understand where the threat is. So if you go really now to the Data Explorer in our tool, you will see all recent crimes, all reports, everything what you want to know in a kind of a listing format. But let's share that, okay? Let's really change the setting, and I would like to focus now really from the 1st of January until today. And as you can see, it will change immediately, but let's make it more visual, okay? So let's go into the map and let's go into the routing and let's really see what's going on in Europe, Middle East and Africa. So let me first zoom out and let me show you, our lovely Europe. So let's focus on that. And as I know, you're all sitting today in the lovely city of Warsaw, and I hope you have a great conference. But this is the picture how Europe looks like, okay? The challenge is if we now look at the incidents for the last 18 months. So if I click on the incidents for the last 18 months, you see that this picture is tremendously changing. You see thousands of incidents. Germany disappeared, Benelux, UK, Italy is normally not there anymore, Spain, but also Poland. And what is quite important, that of course you can now filter everything. You can now scroll in, you can zoom in, you can create your route risk analysis. But what is more important, and what is really giving you the right approach is really to say, okay, where do I find the right partners to mitigate my risk? For example, where do I find secure parking places all over Europe? And there's the European program, SSTPA, but there's still the TAPA PSR, the Parking Security Requirements. And we are really happy and proud that we are an association which can provide you both training opportunities. We can train you on the PSR, but we can also train you on the European Union SSTPA program. The benefit is that we mutually recognize both standards. So if you go for an SSTPA certification, you will automatically receive the TAPA PSR certification. So if you go to Poland, as you can see, you also have secured parking places already in Poland, which are certified against our industry standard. So it's coming from the industry for the industry. What is also quite important if we look at trucking companies, because as already said, goods at rest are goods at risk. But whilst in transit, we have seen a lot of incidents, where criminals are jumping on a driving truck and unload the truck whilst driving. So if you look for a great partner, for TSR, look at this. It's an amazing picture. You can find partners. You can find TAPA certified TSR companies all over Europe, Middle East and Africa.
And of course, I can also zoom out now just for a while. And you can see also partners in Africa, in the Middle East, and in South Africa. As already said, this system is right now focused on Europe, Middle East, and Africa. But we are preparing the global rollout, or the rollout, including APEC, pretty soon. And stay tuned what's going on next. I think what is also quite important, it's not only that you have the parking place, you have the TSR locations and TSR companies, but you also would like to store your products. And storage is historically a high risk area. This is why TAPA being started nearly 25 years ago, because we had significant losses from the industry in warehouses all over Europe, Middle East, and Africa. So if you look now at FSR locations, it's very easy. And if you zoom in, you can go now again, let's go to Poland again, and you see you have a lot of certifications with FSRA in the area of Poland. Okay, and that's really quite important if you go there. And of course, if you look at all the different locations in Poland, you can go there, you can choose the location, and you can say, okay, what does it really mean? What is behind that? And you can see, for example, that this certification is a security level C, and all levels are the minimum requirements. Okay, so you can go for C, which is the entry level, you can go for B or for A. DHL is clearly an industry leader on certifications, and they have more than 300 certifications in Europe, Middle East, and Africa alone. So that's a good example. And I'm pretty sure in the panel, that you have a discussion on what is the benefit. So let me give you an example. Okay, a TAPA membership means nothing. A TAPA membership means like, you sign up to a gym, you go there for 1 week, and then you pay for the next 12 months. What does it mean? You pay money, but you don't lose weight, and you will not become fitter or stronger. Why? Because you're not active. The active engagement, the proactive approach is the most important thing when we talk about really become a member and drive the TAPA vision and mission into your company. So be certified, train your people, okay, create a mindset change, and drive the transformation and the transition into your company to understand really the level of risk which is attacking you every day. But let's continue the story now. Okay, so we had now FSR certifications. We also had TSR locations, and we have PSR locations. And now you can see with this network in the industry, you can significantly mitigate your risk, within your end-to-end supply chain solution. So let's say, for example, and to make life easier, let's say you're driving from Hamburg and you go to Warsaw, because this is where you are right now. Okay, and the system is giving you, like now, the best route. Okay, and if we zoom out a little bit, you will see the route the system is telling you. You can also see, traffic alerts right now, and the system is a living system, so more products will come and more features will be embedded every day. Bookmarks means you can say, I'm only interested in the incidents nearby my road. But let's say now, for example, okay, that's my route. Can I find a TSR company? Of course you can. And that's really quite important to understand that. Can I find FSR locations when I need to store my products? Yes, you can. Also, it's also not a problem. And finally, can I also look at PSR locations, to park my truck while it's on the route? Yep, maybe you need to have a detour right now, but again, every week we add more and more parking places out of the network, out of the industry, into this tool. What is also quite important, of course, you can now look at the incidents on the route, and you can say, okay, where do I have incidents? And now if you wonder, of course, it's not the picture what Poland really is, but it's the tip of the iceberg. And we receive incidents, again, from all our members, and we are really proud to have more than 880 member companies in Europe, Middle East, and Africa alone. And I will show you some at the end of this one. But I think it's quite important to understand that we have the market leaders, in the manufacturing industry. We have the top 20 pharma companies, the top 10 electronics, all the tobacco companies, sports, food, and so on and so on. But it's also quite important to understand that we have the people from the ground, we have logistic service providers, we have the people which are in the field. So we receive information on a day-by-day perspective, what is really going on and where the risk is really occurring. Okay, we are running out of time, but I know that you still have a fantastic really opportunity related to the people now in your panel. Okay, that's in a nutshell what really means resilience at risk. I hope you enjoyed the last 12 to 30 minutes. Stay TAPA-ized, and if you're interested in, and if you would like to have more information on TAPA, please let me know and please send me an email. I wish you a great conference, take care, and see you soon. Thank you.